Hey guys, Wolfie here. Just out for a morning stroll to pick up some groceries. So, truth is, I'm getting cat food and milk and paper plates and other such luxury extravagance. I want to talk about a couple things, but I really shouldn't talk about one of them. But suffice to say, my wife submitted a great work of fiction to the court regarding her finances, and it just cracks me up. No, the other topic that caught my attention, it's been riveting for the past week. If any of you are fans or followers of Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter, boy, there's been a doozy of a controversy on that one. So it's turned out that a couple of the guys, I guess one guy, get the windows rolled up here. One guy there named Adam got catfished, I guess, and he sent a bunch of nudes to the catfisher, and so he caught a heap of shit for that, and I guess he got fired, and so that's kind of a bad enough scandal, right? But oh boy, Ryan, good old Ryan Haywood, he really screwed the pooch. Apparently I think it's up to 8 different accusers now, most of them providing receipts, including one that was under 18. So, for those who don't know, they're a media company that produces lots of YouTube videos and stuff. Kind of focused on gaming. And they have a pretty good fan base. They have their own expos or conferences that they host every year. And they go to other gaming events as well. And as it turns out, this guy, Ryan, who's married with 2 kids, spent the last 3 or 4 years going to these expos or just random hooking up with young fans and boinking away. He's like, 8 different women have come out and said they screwed. Some of them multiple times. One of them was underage, and he's like foot the bill for them to fly out to those conferences and expos to meet up with him. He always had this arrangement with Rooster Teeth that anytime he would go to one of these, he would get to stay an extra day in the hotel. So he didn't even travel back home with his colleagues at the end of these shows. He would stay an extra day just so that he could hook up with fans. It's just amazing. And all sorts of sordid details have come out, like most of these women that he groomed or that he worked on, they were virgins when he started with them, and he didn't use condoms, and he was rough to the point that he made them bleed. And so, people are going through all his old videos, all the Let's Plays and stuff, because he's been a fixture in, Rooster Teeth's productions for like 10 years. And so people have been going back through all of his stuff, and a lot of jokes that he used to make in the Let's Plays and other stuff that seemed creepy but harmless at the time. Well, oh yeah, they were creepy. Stuff like, oh God, he would make jokes about, banging teenagers, and how he loved to choke. He was good at choking, and it turns out he choked a few of his lovers. And it's just a delight to see a creep like that get exposed, and he got fired too, of course. That goes without saying. But the funny thing about it now is, and this is the part that kind of bugs me about it, Rooster Teeth and all his coworkers and the company, and even well, sorry, we'll start with them. Just his coworkers and at the company, they're all acting utterly hurt, and they're so ashamed, and they can't believe all this happened, and it's very hurtful and saddening, and we're suffering major loss here. Like, okay, no. You guys didn't lay there and get boffed by the great and mighty Cherry Popper Ryan. Now, that's not to say that I think that his over 18 fans who had sex with him are victims. No matter how creepy he was or how much he supposedly manipulated them, you're an adult. You make those choices. You're a star fucker. You went out to find him. Even if he was preying on you, you still said yes. You still sought him out. You still went and found him. You went to his hotel room with him. You took off your clothes, and you did the nasty. So my sympathy for them kind of is very minimal. It's not to say they weren't being creeped on, but I mean, they were, obviously. And they have the text to prove it. But, world's smallest violin, right? But that's actually reserved for his coworkers, who are just acting so astonished and embarrassed and hurt deeply that their good longtime friend could ever do something like this. I don't know how you can work with somebody for 10 years closely like that, to the point that you're attending conferences and hosting expos with that person and sitting next to him at work and not notice anything going on. I could buy it that you could hide maybe one lover, one illicit affair, keep it on, just keep it quiet. Don't go public about it. Don't be sneaky or shady about it. Just don't talk about it. And, nobody really looks into it. So, yeah, you could probably get by with one. But 8? This happened 8 times, at least, over the past 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 years, and you didn't notice? That reeks of bullshit. Especially because there are old podcasts, videos of their old podcasts where they actually talk about it. Not in those terms, but there was one where they brought up the fact that Ryan would stay an extra day after all these events, and there was this awkward silence among the 5 people talking. Ryan wasn't included. It was 5 of his coworkers. There was this really long and awkward silence where it all hit them at the same time. And they just realized, holy shit, we know what he's doing. But they never looked into it. That's the only time they ever thought of it. That just reeks of bullshit. So, anyway, he's... The crazy thing is, after this started to break, after I think the first few women came forward, this dumbass started texting the other women, begging them not to come forward. And naturally, the first thing those women do is take screenshots of those posts and publish them publicly. You would think that after the first time that happened, after your first conversation begging one of your former lovers not to continue outing you gets aired publicly, you might want to stop, quit trying. Because if you do, it's just going to go public again. Well, he's apparently not that bright, because he kept going. So there's been 3 or 4 now people that he's begged to stop, and they've all posted it publicly. It's like, dude, you lost your job already. Your marriage is undoubtedly, tanked. She's an idiot if she stays with him, and I don't think she is. But, he's lost his marriage. He's probably only going to get shared custody with his kids. And he lost his job. So, DFE, delete fucking everything. Just disappear off the internet. Go find some other job. He's qualified. He's got skills. Just go find some job where you don't have a public visage, you don't have any kind of public presence, and just slink back into the workforce. If the guy had any brains, he could, move on and be back on his feet within a year. Because this, this culture fucking glorifies adultery. So, okay, you banged some fans, big whoop. That's how people are going to view it a year from now. All the salacious details are going to just sort of vanish in the wind. So you'd think he would have the brains to just cut everything off, stop talking, disappear, go find other work, lay low for a while, it'll all go away. But nope, he is going down with the ship. And it's just funny. The one that really bothers me is, I guess, one of his YouTube moderators or editors or something worked with him for years. Also slept with him. What can I say? But she got a couple of the victims, a couple of the women that he banged came to her to tell her about the kind of creepy stuff Ryan was doing, and this woman shushed them, told them not to go public, and she covered it up, hushed it up. And the worst part is, this woman also apparently tried to arrange for other sexual hookups for Ryan. So this woman was not only aware of his creepy behavior and lining up other women, but she tried to hook him up with a harem herself. So, for her to sit there and cry crocodile tears, like, oh, woe is me, he abused me and manipulated me, and it was so uncomfortable, even though I slept with him several times. It's like, first time you have sex with somebody, it may not be great, because you don't know each other, and you don't know what you like, what the other person likes very much. And you can kind of feel your way through it and make it enjoyable, but that's only if you give a shit. But, if your first time you have sex isn't so great, fine. Call it stage fright or first time jitters, whatever. You go back for seconds, okay. You try again. If it still sucks, you really want to try for 3? Go with a 3 strikes you're out principle? Okay. But if you've tried it 3 times and it's never been satisfying or enjoyable, cut them loose. It's not... Why would you keep going back if you found it miserable or abusive or manipulative? I don't have sympathy for people who do that. Uh-oh. My access to Walmart is cut off. Guess I have to go around this other way. Stupid construction! But yeah, it's just such a mess, and it's a delightful bit of schadenfreude because the funny thing about Rooster Teeth is that they love to virtue signal. They're one of those companies that went 100% woke. And they even posted things on their Twitter saying, we support diversity and blah, 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 blah. And if you don't like that, then you don't even have to announce your departure. We don't need you. Okay, no problem. The only stuff of theirs that I've ever really watched were their Minecraft Let's Plays, because they were funny, and the Rage Quit series that Michael Jones did. And that's always a delight. I love Rage Quit. It's a guilty pleasure. But he's kind of mellowed out in recent years, and he's sort of stopped making them. I think he's down to 1 a year or something. So, yeah. So I really don't watch any of their other shit. So it's no skin off my back to just stop watching them entirely, because it's not that interesting anymore. But it's kind of scary that a lot of their fans are standing behind them and virtue signaling and acting shocked. How could Ryan do this? And blah, 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 blah. And it's not like, when you get famous, people throw themselves at you. I wish I was famous. if I was famous, I would totally boff the fans, you know? It's one of those things you do, but I guess you don't have to. And, you know, a lot of people don't. I should be fair. But, you know, plenty do. What do you think groupies are? I gotta check in. Be right back. Okay, and I'm back. But yeah, like, it was a common thing back in the 70s and 80s. It's still common. You know what happens. That you got, you know, groupies and roadies that just follow the stars around and get laid. It's one of the perks of being, you know, famous. I don't, you know, I couldn't say that Rooster Teeth is, any of those people are major stars or anything. They certainly have a following, and it makes sense that some of their following would be, you know, attracted to them and want to play. You know, the scary thing, on the Kiwi Farms thread, there, you know, a bunch of tweets and stuff. They're archiving all of this madness. There's a picture that comes with the tweet, "Thanks to all the fans for meeting me in Melbourne." It doesn't say whether it's Melbourne, Florida, or Melbourne, Australia, but I swear to God, it's a group picture with Ryan in the middle, and right in front of him, it's probably 30 or 40 people that are all fans of his. Right in front of him, is a girl who's a dead fucking ringer for my ex-girlfriend. And I'm thinking, holy shit, dude. I mean, it just spot on looks like her. And if it was Melbourne, Florida, it is her. So she's hanging out with the creeper, and she likes them older men. So I don't know, dude. It's sitting in the back of my mind like, holy shit, she didn't. Please tell me she didn't. And I could be wrong. It may not be her, and it might be Melbourne, Australia, not Melbourne, Florida. I can't imagine why Rooster Teeth would come specifically to Melbourne, Florida. It's kind of a nowhere town, south of Kennedy Space Center and Port Canaveral and all that stuff. A good 30 miles south of there, and it's an hour and change away from Orlando. So, yeah, I can't see them going to Orlando or going to Miami, or not Miami, Melbourne for a show. But goddamn, that caught my eye. Like, holy shit. She doesn't fit his taste. Too old at this point, you know, over 20, and he seems to have a specific body type that he's attracted to, and it's short and pudgy, fat. He kind of goes for the fat chicks a little bit. And my ex was not that. She was pretty damn slender and fit. Anyway. So yeah, that whole thing is just funny. And it always cracks me up. What are you doing? Oh, hopefully I didn't order paper towels or toilet paper. Of course, there's other people here, so maybe they're serving them first. Yep, they are. It always amazes me, though, when somebody like Ryan, who's into IT, he started at Rooster Teeth as an IT guy. I don't know how you can be an IT worker today with any kind of experience and skill and not be aware of the fact that anything and everything that you put on a phone or transmit over a phone or over the internet is probably going to be there for keeps. He genuinely seemed shocked and surprised that these different women kept screenshots or records of their communications. And I mean, there are some pretty shitty photos too. Like, you know, he took pictures of some of these girls in the hotel room, you know, clothed, but who knows what he took privately. And he also, there's some pictures taken by one of the girls, and you can just see her her naked leg on the bed, and she's taking pictures of Ryan, and he's fucking taking his wedding ring off before he lays down in bed to do the dirty. And it's just like, you fucking creep. Of course, you know, my hoe of an ex-wife, the one I'm getting divorced from, we weren't even wearing wedding rings at the time that she was cheating on me, so that's a common thing. It's just so scummy. But yeah, all his, all those records, all those messages, all those photos have all come out, and I'm sure it took him by complete surprise that, what? How could you? I thought this stuff got deleted. Really, dude? You gotta be kidding me. I'll be right back. Helps to release the parking brake if you want the car to move. Reminds me of an old, this old truck, way back when I was a kid. We lived in California. Oh, there's a detour up there, okay. And we decided to go to a flea market to take stuff to sell. And it took this big old truck. God, was it an old Ford, I think? Or an old... It had to have been a Ford. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, we loaded up the truck and we hauled a bunch of stuff over out to the flea market, and, you know, sold a bunch of stuff. It went okay. And on the way home, it was just me and my mother that day, and all the way home, she's like, God, you know, the engine's pulling real hard. It feels like the engine's really having to struggle to keep moving. And then we're on the freeway when she says, you know, it's gotten better. And then for some reason, she just gets this funny look on her face and reaches down, and you hear this pop. She had the parking brake on and just drove right through it. And that's what you get with a big-ass engine. That truck had a beast of an engine on it, and it's beefy enough to plow right through the parking brake. It's kind of impressive. Of course, the parking brake got completely burned up, and we had to get it replaced. Whoops. But, you know, it's kind of funny. Made me giggle. That's the shopping center where I bought my gun. Kind of glad I did. There are waiting lists everywhere for guns and gun permits. I guess in Texas there are waiting lists just to buy handguns. Probably true in other places as well. So many more people are buying up weapons. That's kind of a scary thought, because some of them are liberals who undoubtedly don't know how to handle the goddamn things. This election season's been hilarious. Twitter and Facebook are now censoring mainstream media outlets that are saying things they don't agree with. I think they, what was it, the New York Times? They censored a New York Times or a New York Post article about Joe Biden's son and his ties to the Ukraine. And yet again, this is one of those really fun things that Trump accused Biden of using his position as vice president to score his son a cushy $83,000 a month job with a company in Ukraine. And that was actually what, when he asked the FBI to investigate that, or the DOJ, one of the two, that's what they impeached him for. That was the excuse that the Democrats cooked up in the House to impeach him on: abuse of power by investigating, you know, an actual crime. And he was acquitted, of course. And wouldn't you know, it was true. It actually happened, and he was right. That doesn't seem to stop Democrat whining these days, but it's just amazing to see big tech just saying, fuck it, we're going to do it. We're all in for Biden. And they are. It's just insane. And the funny thing is, other outlets are picking up on it. Twitter and Facebook are both limiting sharing the link to that article on the New York Post. They're also, they put it behind a warning saying, hey, this is potentially false information and we're trying to stop the spread of it. But you can click through and still see it if you really want. And the funny thing is, they're also doing that very same warning, on a link to a fucking government website. They're literally censoring the House Judiciary Committee website because it also mentions this new Biden testimony, this new Biden evidence. It's fucking amazing. Twitter and Facebook are actively and literally censoring government websites on their platforms. It's just amazing. Like, really, guys? You don't think this could backfire? I wonder if they really think that Trump is only going to be president until November 3rd if he loses the election. Because that's not how it works. I mean, for one thing, he's not going to lose. Keep dreaming, people. But even if he does, he's still president until, January 19th. When, the transition of power happens at the inauguration. But, get real. He's the incumbent. The incumbent's only lost 3 times in the history of the United States. He's polling really well. And Biden's campaign has just been so dead. And the guy barely shows up to anything. They routinely announce lids, which means no more press contact or no more anything, at 10 a.m. in the morning. They can barely keep the guy awake on the stage, and his running mate is insane and really unlikable. So there's, even with all I'm sure there's going to be a shitload of cheating, but I think even with cheating, I don't think the Dems can cheat Trump out of a win. I just don't see it happening. I could be wrong, and I'll eat shit on November 4th if that's what happens. I'll have a face full of crap, but I just don't see it. But yeah, these companies just act like they're untouchable. It's like, okay, Trump is still president for at least 3 more months. You really think this is a smart move? What can you do in 3 months? Executive orders. Sure, go get a federal judge to block it. And they would, and of course they'll go to their favorite court, the Ninth Circuit, and I'm sure they'll get their friendly judges to block it. But it doesn't matter. Just issuing the executive order puts it on the radar, and the media will whine about it, and they'll celebrate the victory, and then people will wonder, what was the EO about? Oh, it was about Twitter and Facebook censoring links to the government. Wait, what? What are they doing? Works every time. And of course, all Trump has to do to fix the censorship entirely is to link to it himself on Twitter, and that'll do it. That'll make it explode. More so than it already has. It's yet again exhibiting the whole Streisand effect, which I love. I'm just so delighted that that's a thing. So it's already happening, and that news is spreading pretty quick. But it'd be funny if he tweets it out, just to highlight again how these companies are so pathetically biased that they're just flexing all the muscle they can to influence an election. It's just funny. And all these sad twists and turns, all these machinations they're trying to sneak out an electoral victory. Just, guys, take the L. Just work on 2024. Write this off. I just don't see them winning. And I really wonder what the next 4 years has in store for us. Because I still think that no matter what the outcome is, no matter who wins, I still think there's going to be riots. And I can't really say if they would be bigger if Trump wins or not. You would think so, because all these people absolutely hate Trump. It's their reason for living. And, if he wins, when he wins, they'll have a shitstorm again. They'll throw a shit fit and just lose their minds for a few weeks. And so there'll definitely be riots. But then, if Biden wins, I'm not sure they won't riot just as much. Because it'll kind of be a Yeah, fuck you, Whitey. Let's go burn down their town. Let's go burn things down again to celebrate. And I can kind of see it getting even nastier if there's a win for Biden, because they know that he'll probably, he won't be as hard on them as Trump might be. Biden is towing the line about defunding police and Black Lives Matter more than everyone else is, apparently. And, he's towing the line, so they know he'll be a pushover. So, I don't know. I think the riots could actually be worse if Biden wins, because there won't be anybody willing to stop them. I mean, except, of course, Trump. If he loses, then he's got no reason at all not to invoke the Insurrection Act and just march the military into those cities and crush the riots. And that'd be fucking funny. I kind of hope he does that if he wins. Because that would also be funny. There's very little in the world more entertaining than watching videos of the protests where those little Antifa thugs, who are totally not an organization, but just an idea, get their asses kicked by police. It's just great. There was a video I saw yesterday of some really obnoxious woman. She was recording, so you could just hear her obnoxious voice and couldn't see her, I'm sure, beautiful face. Just getting in the face of a cop in full riot gear, yelling and screaming at him, and like, are you comfortable taking a pension after being such a pig? He shakes his head, nods his head, and puts his thumb up, and then acts like he can't hear her and keeps making her repeat herself, and then finally says, "You want a piece of gum?" just fucking with her for like 3 minutes, and she got so mad. And he's just standing there smiling at her like, you know what, bitch, fuck you. What are you going to do about it? I've got my boys here. Come get some. It's just great. Want to see more of that. The funny thing is, Antifa has been getting on their people about live streaming and filming at their protests because, as it turns out, it's looking pretty bad for them. When there's documentation of all the stupid shit they do, some of them actually go to jail, or at least it looks bad for the cause. So the way it works now is they'll attack you if you're recording at an Antifa protest if they don't know who you are. And they'll straight up threaten you. And, it just takes a handful of people to say, no, fuck you, we're recording anyway, and then just beat the shit out of anybody that tries to stop them. But, that involves the police, and the police are actively harassing and prosecuting anybody who defends themselves or who, pushes back against these shitheads. So that's a big risk, but, All right, well, I'm home. There's a Simba in the window, so I should go see him. And I don't want my milk to get warm. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching, and thanks again, everybody, for the well wishes about Pixel. I'm still pretty sad about that, and I miss her. But all of your warm wishes have been very helpful. Thank you again. So I will catch you guys next time. Take care.